Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty, and this video is a semi-build guide, mostly like build framework. You know, I do those sometimes. This is like an idea that I don't know if it's ever really fully worth executing, financially or spiritually, but it does work. This is Neil Blumenthal, Neil the Crab Blumenthal. This is my Winter Orb Shrine Stacker, who's also power charge stacking. If you don't understand the reference, Neil Blumenthal is the CEO of the glasses company Warby Parker. If you're in the US, you might know who Warby Parker is, and I'm playing Winter Orb, also known as Worb, so that's where we got that. I got a crab helmet on, I've got a crab, and the reason I'm using the crab, and it's very important, is because as a shrine stacker, which is really only a prominent thing this league with the change of Guardian having this new edition called Harmony of Purpose, which there was a variation of this in Settlers that was like a staff enchant, and the issue with that one is it would replace existing shrines, but they updated it in Frisia to where it became a scalable value that could then, if you have the duration of shrines increased to a point, it would then have 2 shrines and 3 shrines. So that's where we're at now, where shrines last 25 seconds, which is the maximum number they can last, which is the amount from the goal plus the duration on your Atlas passive tree. And these shrine nodes do affect, you know, whatever. So these nodes that have increased effective shrines, increased effect, all these duration nodes, those do 100% effect, and it ends up being basically 25 seconds for shrines. You get 2.5 shrines on average. Now, fun thing about the shrines, let's talk about for a second. So the Harmony of Purpose thing, this is the notable, right? The Atlas Pass, you know, from the Shrine Buff Ascendancy. What this does is interesting, okay? So 2 things to note. It gives you a shrine every 10 seconds that has a base duration of 10 seconds, and the duration is scalable, allowing multiple shrines to be active at once. The fun part here at the end, that some of the shrines might not apply in all areas, such as low-level campaign areas. I found this out when I was leveling the character, that when you have Harmony of Purpose, you're locked to hitting like 5 different shrines until you're level 60, and then it seems like all of them kind of open up. But shrines are interesting. So shrines exist through domination, which is the mechanic that allows for shrines to spawn, and there's some funny amount of shrines, and they all actually, for a weird reason, they have a cycling weighting. So when you have the Harmony of Purpose, there actually is a joint weighting for shrines, meaning you can get Divine Shrine, and it lasts 25 seconds, and its weighting is just 2. So if you were to add up all of these numbers, and then you get 132, you know, 2 out of 132 is your chance to then have a Gloomer Divine Shrine. If you already have a shrine, you can't get that same shrine. It seems to just pick a different one, which is fine. It doesn't just re-up the duration. So you can't just like hit Shrouded 3 times in a row and then not have shrines. It'll always pick something else, which is kind of fun. But you gain access to a lot of shrines quite commonly that are very good. So Massive Shrine is great. Acceleration Shrine, Diamond Shrine. Really, most of these shrines are really fun. Echoing's a lot of fun, whatever. So we kind of picked something that would feel good to have a lot of shrines active, which I picked Winter Orb, because when you do end up getting acceleration, you basically lose control of your character because we have so much shrine effect it gets off the charts crazy. But I also wanted something that could work with crit, that could work with AoE, that could work with cast speed really well, that could work with duration, that needed regen. So we ended up just picking Winter Orb since it got buffed along with, you know, the Guardian stuff. So back to the crabs. The reason we have the crab is because when we have Massive Shrine, and we have Lesser Massive Shrine from Blunderbore, just active, but more importantly, the Shrine Effect buff. The reason you use Blunderbore is just because it has Effective Shrine buff. That's the main reason. And then you have the Gull, which is Shrine Effect buff and duration. When your character size gets scaled by massive size, and it makes the crab really big, and that's just fun to see. So I like having big crab. So these 2 things, this is related to shrines. Okay, nothing else is shrine related but these 2 things. If I had one, and you don't really need one, but you can run one. You could run Badge of the Brotherhood. I'm just using a rare because I want to cap my res, and that's why I have this rare on. It's fine. I'm using a Death's Rush for Adrenaline, and also Lifeline Kill. If you had a Calandra's Touch, you could definitely Calandra's your +1 power charge ring, because you're getting 1 power charge there, 1 from Graven Secrets, 2 from Malachi's Loop. If you had a double Corrupt Gold, there's 1 more there, 1 more from Void Battery, 6 on tree, with 3 base and 3 on tree. You end up with, we're sitting I think 10, but you can get to like 12 or 13. Ralakesh and Patience means we're always at cap, and then the Graven Secret Belt means that we have max absorption. So 100% of the elemental damage we take, we are recouping as energy shield. Now you'll notice here my ES is quite low. That's because I swapped to Ghost Shrouds, and I'm currently leveling my Grace. So it's going to be a little bit fucked for this first example, but it does work quite well, and it is quite fun. So you can already see that in my hideout, I'm significantly larger because I've now gained some of the benefits of my shrines as I'm cycling through them. If I go to an instanced area that's non-hideout like the Menagerie, every 10 seconds I'm going to gain a shrine. And then it's going to start stacking to where they last for 25 seconds, and then every subsequent 5 seconds off the rotation, I'll have a shrine. So I'm not in a map, so it's going to be 15, not 25, because I don't have the Atlas affecting me. But it still sees last 5 seconds, so when the last 5 are swap to a different shrine, there's acceleration, and we become quite quick, and our channeling becomes quite fast. Fast to the point of where I just pretty much go instantly, and I start jiggling my crab. Now 5 seconds off, we're about to get a new shrine in a second here, and it gave us Brutal. So it replaces the existing lesser shrines. The lesser shrines don't preclude it from having those ones, it still has them. It just means that when I get 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, it's going to occupy those because they don't stack. So a major always takes over a lesser. This one ends, we're back to acceleration. You can see the pattern here is we just will be getting shrines every 10 seconds, and then every shrine we click when we're in a map also gives us 2 shrines because of the Atlas passive, and those all last 25 seconds. So we end up with pretty much within 30 seconds, we have every shrine in the game on us, and then we get things like replenishing, which gives us so much life regen. We end up being like 40 or 50 or 60% life regen on top of everything else. It turns out that if you're playing something that's kind of mediocre, like Winter Orb on a Guardian, when you have every shrine in the game permanently, it's pretty good. The problems you end up having are controlling your character, and then your damage is kind of wonked because Acceleration Shrine has like a weird less multiplier, but it feels okay because we're using, power charge stacking Void Battery. So our tree ends up looking like this. We have the Supreme Ostentation coming from our Elegant Hubris. This is going to circumvent all of our attribute needs because we just have such ridiculous gear. I'm pretty low level, I'm 76, I can easily, get to 90, and this is the framework of our tree. The rest of our tree is nothing but clusters. It's just going to be clusters and jewels. So this is basically the framework I'm working with. It feels pretty good. I like having ES on kill. I like having this huge ES buffer. Grabbing Aura Effect, I'm running Clarity, Herald of Ice, Grace, Purity of Elements, Discipline. Grace works really well with Discipline and Ghost Dance. We always have those defensive shrines active. Pretty much, we get some crit stuff, we get some power stuff, we get a little bit of life, a little bit of ES. We also get we get this new Mastery for +1 Cold Gem, charge stuff, and that's pretty much it. We don't have a lot of room on trees, so we're grabbing mostly things through clusters. So getting a lot of things like Leech, Spell Block, and then the mediums are just AoE. So Vast Power, Magnifier is a pretty standard combo. AoE and AoE scaling power charges, which are always at cap power charges, so, feels good. So we just swapped our tree to have the shrine nodes for the demonstration purposes. And when you're doing this, I don't know how much it costs in trade, but it's pretty simple to just, run a suite of shrines on maps. 4 domination plus... I just put on Evolving. Doesn't really matter. You could put on things like Domination of Terrors and Farm Bosses, but Evolving works fine. I think this makes rares. Things upgrade to... I already had some in here. Look at me go. And then, of course, you put on Domination, and then we're max shrined. So we're going to do a quick run here. I'm going to be having to level my Grace as I'm walking around. Yeah, you'll get an example of what it looks like. Now, if you were doing something like a big boss that's an invitation that's kind of sketchy, like the Feared, you could just sit here for a minute, literally, and just wait for Divine Shrine to pop up. And you'll have 15 seconds of Divine Shrine at the beginning of a fight. Or you could just, something like that. If you felt like it. It's a bit of a psychopath move. But pretty much what I do is I sit here and I just channel until I, get my 3 shrines rolling. We're about to get one in 1 second here. There's number 3, I believe, in a second. Boom. Okay, so as you can see, when we start grabbing shrines, it's going to start getting really crazy. And once we get pretty much all the things, it becomes a little bit out of control. But I'm in a red map here, and you have no problem clearing. You can watch my defenses or my stats as I get echoing here. You get really, really big. The crab gets big, which is fun. And the second you ever get acceleration, it makes the game almost unmanageable. The fun thing with Winter Orb when it comes to getting Brutal Shrine Heaven on you is that it actually works like reverse knockback, which I can't really control. But yeah, the build basically feels like you're immortal walking around. Again, I have a problem controlling him because this is how fast I move. when I'm mapping, and it's like when I said it becomes unplayable, this is what I meant. It's trying to clear a map like this. Like, you can clear it, you know, basically in like 20 seconds if you get an acceleration try at the beginning of a map. It just is like almost unplayable. And then I just keep periodically tapping right click to apply Winter Orb back on me to keep my stacks up. Otherwise it just gets out of hand. But you are, I mean, I'm in a ice block now, but you're basically immortal. Nothing can come close to touching you or killing you. End up having 90 all res very easily for the entire map. Not to mention about 60% life regen, because you just have every shrine always, and you could I think I could pretty much just sit in anything, and it just does such less, just, you know, 90 all res plus 60% life regen turns out is pretty good. So definitely something you could incorporate in some way is going to be the Soul Eater thing if you wanted, but I just don't really think you need it. The build is just, like, in general so chill. It just requires, like, a little bit of piloting, and it's obviously clunky and limited to, like, the shrine stuff, but being a shrine stacker, I think, is definitely overlooked at the moment. And, yeah, I just think there's something here. It's very funny, though, as you could see. Having the giant crab with the mega massive shrine is, like, in itself, just, like, very addictive. And so, you don't have to use Winter Orb, but any skill that doesn't basically target or has really large AoE, I think works really well for Winter Orb. Just because, you know, it's like, I can't fucking control it. But power charge stacking feels like it's a pretty free introduction with the aura stacking. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the framework for, you know, Mr. Neil the Crab Warby Parker Blumenthal. It's, oh, I'm big again. It's definitely very fun. And I don't really know how much more I'm going to expound on it, but it's a great little project, and the framework is definitely there. I think it's an underrated thing to look into, because it's just maybe a lesser application of power charge stacking on top of shrine stacking, but it's just, this is, I mean, something's really fun about this. But either way, that's it. That's the build, kind of. I'll see you guys later, and maybe there'll be an update to this at some point. I'm Matt Lighty, and have a good day. Bye-bye.